All right, welcome to the Sports Mashup number 24. August 11th is the date for this one as we are inching closer and closer to the first game of the NFL season. The first real one, of course, Buccaneers-Cowboys, the Thursday game, 33 days away from the first NFL Sunday. So we'll throw that out there. We're getting to some NFL stuff here soon, but let's talk NBA real quick. Not the number one topic on the show, but we start off with it, get it out of the way. Kevin Durant is going to sign a 4-year extension with the Nets. Not surprising. This is after, of course, he led the U.S. team to winning a gold medal in an Olympics where people thought that they might not get the job done. They get it done. I think the big key down the stretch for them was changing the lineup. Kevin Durant, clearly the best. I think he's the best player to ever play. And I think he's the best U.S. Olympic basketball player ever because numbers-wise, he's got all the number one stats.
I'd say he just broke the record for most points.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's better than MJ, but in the Olympics, he's probably been the best U.S. player ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's played in more, I think, than –
He's got 3 goals. Yeah, he's played 12, 16 in this one. So,
and yeah. I don't know how many Michael played in.
And this one was one of those where the team was not loaded per se. Like, they had some stars on the team. You look at, Booker is an up-and-coming star. Tatum is as well.
But usually the starting lineup was like Tyson Chandler, LeBron, KD –
Kobe,
and Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Or Jason Kidd.
Yeah, and this year's lineup, I think there's only really 2 true quote-unquote superstars on this team. And that was Lillard, who struggled a little bit, and then KD. So, this is a big moment for KD's legacy, quote-unquote.
Yeah, and then his comment after they won. And then I was watching the ESPN Snapchat, and they were like, is the U.S. the best? There's all these others. They're like Luka does this. Giannis as 2-time MVP, 1 Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. And who was the other one they said? But I don't know. But I was like, yeah, USA won this one without a stacked lineup.
Yeah, and they are supposed to win. So that's like when Draymond Green's coming out here talking about all the haters, quote unquote. It's like, come on, you're supposed to win no matter what. Like, the U.S. roster was not stacked, but it was still a much better roster than just about every other, team. I think France was the only team that was even close in terms of roster construction to this U.S. team. They had 7 NBA players. So,
but like if they would have had the normal roster, it would have been blowout games.
Curry, add LeBron, add Steph Curry. I don't know. Harden was he was going to play. Yeah, and if Chris Paul would have played, the U.S. had 4 or 5 guys that weren't playing at all. You look at Grant and Keldon Johnson and JaVale McGee; those guys didn't even play. So they had some fill-in roster spots there, which I think typically you do have that, but it is what it is. Some minor signings. Suns signed Elfrid Payton, who's going to only play if Chris Paul or Cameron Payne get hurt.
Is he the guy who was drafted by the Magic?
Yeah.
Had the crazy hair?
Yeah. He played for the Suns for about 20 games 3 or 4 years ago when the Suns were horrendous. He was in the Knicks the last couple of years. Not a very good player, but it is what it is. Andre Iguodala, who is from our neck of the woods, he's returning to the Warriors. He was playing with the Heat, I believe, last year, and he did go to the finals with the Heat. He won 3 rings, of course, with Golden State. I believe in 2015 he was the finals MVP.
That's when he was like straight lockdown defender.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he was tremendous, but I also think that people look at it in a different light because LeBron still put up numbers, but like LeBron's always going to put up numbers. So, he 4 straight finals appearances, so he'll return there.
But him signing, he's old.
He's like 37, 38. I mean, the Warriors are going to be.
But I mean, for NBA-wise, that's pretty old.
Yeah, he'll still be a decent 3-and-D type. I don't know how good his shooting is at this point. I think he can still defend depending on who it is, but a little reunion.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be coming off the bench.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, the big thing for the Warriors this year is obviously whether Klay Thompson is going to be ready to go, which you got to think he will be. 2 straight seasons not playing. So Kelly Oubre signed with the Hornets. Not sure the numbers on that deal, but a solid 3. I liked him a lot in Phoenix, but I think it was time to move on when he did. So that's good. But speaking of Slovenian Olympic heroes who almost was an inch away from leading that team to the gold medal match,
Yeah, I still can't believe he passed up taking the final shot.
Yeah, that was stupid. Like, come on, you're playing with a bunch of dudes that aren't even close to you. You have to take a shot no matter
we're
what.
talking about Luka Doncic. He gets a mega extension, 5 years, $207 million.
I mean, the question is now, can they put somebody around him? Because I don't think Kristaps Porzingis is going to do anything there. I mean, he might get traded before next season.
They re-signed Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr., yep.
They're talking about getting Lauri Markkanen from the Bulls.
That'd be an interesting fit. I don't really know how much better, if he is at all better than Porzingis, but I guess
I doubt he'd play the 5. He'd probably play the 4.
Yeah. I mean, Markkanen's a player that I really like coming out of Arizona. I thought he was going to be a very good stretch 4 in the NBA. It hasn't really worked out, especially in Chicago. I think a change of scenery would be good for him, but I don't know at this point how good he can be.
And he'd be – I forgot the teammate that the Mavs have, but it was his either college roommate or they played together. They were in the same draft class from Arizona.
I'll find this out. What draft was that? Like 2017 NBA draft or something? Let me see here. Okay, Lauri Markkanen 2017 draft. Who did Dallas draft this player that you're talking about?
I'm not sure.
I don't even know who it is. I think I remember who you're talking about. Green or something?
Josh Green.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think that'd be a good fit. You know, I'd line up with Luka and Porzingis.
He was at Arizona in 2019 and 2020.
So he wasn't teammates with him, but he went to Arizona.
Yeah.
There's still a connection there for sure. Okay, let's go to the NFL. Lots of things to discuss here. A little bit more fantasy football stuff. In terms of, you look at the PPR stuff, and I'm trying to think of like underrated quarterbacks that people aren't thinking about in terms of PPR for the season. Because I feel like people don't understand the impact that I think Kyler Murray is going to have in fantasy football this year. Like, he's a guy that can run, he can throw, and he literally has a billion weapons around him. I think that as a mid-round, late-round pick, I think Kyler Murray could be a steal.
You would I saw Sam Darnold struggling, but he could be a sneaky one because of just how many times he can dump it to McCaffrey.
And he has receivers too. I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, they said he's struggling, so.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know about the situation with Matt Stafford in LA. I don't really like that pick. I just think that the running game's not going to be as good as it should be. Cam Akers is out, so that's going to hurt them. Another guy you look at in the AFC, Lamar Jackson, I think that people are expecting him to have a good season, but I think I wish they could get him more target or more viable guys to throw to. Yeah, it's not very consistent with them. I don't know. I like Mark
they'll
Andrews.
Sign like a veteran for like a year and then they'll let him go. Like who'd they have that came from Houston? Willie Snead. They had him for like a year or two, released him. I mean, they still have Max Andrews and
they had Des
Hollywood Brown.
They had Des Bryant for about 30 minutes last year.
Yeah, is he even on the team this year?
I don't think so, no. Serves him right because that was not a catch in the NFC divisional round game. So there you go. We'll get into more of that probably once a week on this program. And then once we both have drafts and teams, we'll go over those when we do that. But
and then last night, Hard Knocks premiered at 9 p.m. Dallas Cowboys for about the third time on Hard Knocks.
Well, the Mike McCarthy dynamic has to be interesting. Jerry Jones in there as well. It's a little interesting. I don't really like the Cowboys at all, but there's some buzz there, I guess. There's about the same amount of buzz you'd have with the Raiders when they did it with Gruden. So We'll see. Xavier Howard, cornerback, one of the best in the league last year, no doubt, like top 5. He was there with Ramsey. He was there with Jair Alexander. those types. He requested a trade from the Dolphins. Now his contract is restructured. I'm assuming he'll be a free agent soon. I don't remember the exact restructure of the contract, but he's good to go for this season in Miami. I'm assuming Brian Flores just wanted to make sure that that got done. So there's that. Let me get these three in real quick before we get into the other non-fantasy stuff. Reports suggest that Jaguars cornerback C.J. Henderson's being mentioned in trade talks. He was the number 9 pick in 2020, so I'm not sure why that was.
He missed yesterday's practice. He showed up today.
Yeah, I don't know what this whole situation is. It's weird. Very talented player out of Florida, so we'll see if he actually gets traded. I lean towards it not happening. That just seems like a weird thing to trade a top 10 pick that quickly.
No.
I don't know. You got
but if you do, you better get something.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody would give up a first, but multiple picks within the top 3 rounds, second or third round picks, I would think.
Yeah, or at least a player in a early second.
Yeah, that would probably be what I would want if I were the Jaguars in this situation. The Colts have a QB competition going on between Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger. Ehlinger was a pick out of Texas this year. I'm assuming.
Wait, he wasn't even the guy we talked about last week. Who else was it?
They have Brett Hundley there.
Oh, Hundley.
Who's terrible. There's no way that happens. I think Eason's going to get the job.
But that's going to hurt the Colts receivers for fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, T.Y., that's going to hurt him.
I think Jonathan Taylor's stock just went up, though.
But they still,
offensive line's great.
Well, Quentin Nelson still don't know when he's coming back.
He's a tough SOB. I'd be surprised if he wasn't playing week 1.
But they bounce around between Jonathan Taylor and Mac Brown. Or is it Mac Brown?
What's his name? Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack. Yeah, they never, like last year, could decide who was getting the carries. It was always.
I think Taylor's going to be 70-30 this year, I bet.
I mean, you would hope, but you never know.
Marlon Mack hurt? He got hurt last year.
But if he's there, you don't know the consistency on what you're going to get out of him.
Marlon Mack is recovering Achilles tear. I'm assuming he'll be back for the first week of this season, but I still think Jonathan Taylor is going to be number 1 there. We'll see. Josh Allen signed an extension, 6 years, $258 million, $150 million guaranteed. Next moving part now will be Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson from that class. I know Baker said he's concerned about winning, and then we'll see what happens after that.
And speaking of Josh Allen, though, with the Bills, about how they were talking about at one point or going to or somewhere in Texas.
Yeah, it was Austin.
And then also I've read Bears ex-quarterback
Cutler.
No, the one just went to the Bill. Yeah, he said he's glad to be where he felt loved
As a backup, yeah.
So he didn't feel loved in Chicago.
I think the fans loved him. I feel like the fans defended him more than they should have.
Yeah.
Or at least the fans that I know. I don't know.
And then lastly, the Saints, Patrick Robertson, been in the year for 11 years, cornerback, decided to retire today, adding to the depth issues at DBs for the Saints as they released Janoris Jenkins in the offseason.
They have a ton of cap problems, so I don't really know how they go about adding anything else. Do they go for C.J. Henderson?
I don't know.
I wouldn't really want to.
Did Janoris Jenkins sign anywhere, or is it possibly that he could come back now?
Here's the thing. I don't think the Saints should want to give up any significant draft capital because they're going to need those draft picks because their salary cap situation is so messed up. So I don't know. Janoris Jenkins on the Titans. So there goes that. Real quick before we get into college basketball, I just want to look at a few rankings of offenses and defenses going into this season. This top 3 that I see for offenses as the Bucks 1, Chiefs 2, Packers 3 offensively, which, I like the Bucks offense. I think the Chiefs and Packers offenses are a little bit better going into the season. But defensively, you got to think, I haven't seen any rankings, but you got to think the Bucs would be top 3 in that as well. Other defenses that could be there, I mean, the Niners if they're healthy.
Yeah, and the Chargers if they're healthy.
I don't know if they're in that category just yet, but I think
I would say they're top 5.
Close, yeah, probably.
Because I'm sure the Titans are.
Let's see here. The Rams defense, Steelers defense, Ravens. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to depend on injuries a lot for a lot of those teams, the Niners especially. But
yeah, I would say that's the top 3 though in the offense. Not saying in that order, but those 3 teams are the top 3. I mean, the Bucs at least signing everyone back kind of helps because you don't have another mix, and now they actually had a preseason to get everything together.
Yeah, and then for the Chiefs, they retooled their offensive line in front of Mahomes, and then for the Packers, obviously,
but then you had Chris Long get hurt though.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but I still like what they did up front. Getting Joe Thuney and others in front of Mahomes. But, with the Packers, obviously Rodgers being back is the biggest part. I think,
And was it he's sitting out all preseason, correct?
Yeah, I think it's for the best. I don't think he wants to play. I don't think he needs to play. I think the less that he throws in the offseason, the better. I think last year was proof of that.
But plus, it's going to help getting Jordan Love way more reps.
Jordan Love is going to play the entire thing pretty much, so that'll be good for him.
I mean, that'll solidify his backup role and get him more in tune with the offense.
Yeah, I 100%
and then
agree.
If something happens to Rodgers, at least he's got more chemistry with everybody.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Real quick before we get into college basketball once again, new head coaches. Looking at a few of them in the AFC at least, I like Robert Saleh for the Jets. I think that expectations for them this year should be don't be one of the worst teams in the league, be like 20 through 25. So like 7 wins, 8 wins.
Yeah, try finishing second or third in your division.
I think that's important. Urban Meyer, I don't know what the hell is going to happen there. I think they could be 3-14. They could be 8-9. They could be 10-7. I don't know. I mean, that's just a wild card altogether.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get out of there yet. It'll take a couple weeks to finally see it.
David Culley, Texans. I mean, that's going to be a disaster. 2-15.
Dan Campbell, you got Goff and TJ Hawkinson, but you got a lot of moving parts that just switched in and out.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough year. I think a lot of people will say 3-14. I think they could win 5 games, maybe 5-12. I don't know. They're much worse than the other 3 teams in that division. But Chargers, Brandon Staley.
I could say they could battle for third in the division.
Yeah, with Chicago or Minnesota, if Rodgers gets hurt, Green Bay. But the Chargers will be better. I think getting a defensive coach in there like Brandon Staley as the head coach should help their defense if it's healthy. And then Herbert, I expect to take another jump, hopefully. The Giants, they didn't get a new head coach this year, so I don't even know why I said their name. The Eagles, Nick Sirianni, what a joke of a hire that is. They're going to be disastrous. I don't think he'll last more than 2 years there.
No, you have Hurts as the quarterback, but you got Devontae Smith.
It doesn't even matter who's playing for them. I just think he's a terrible head coach. I don't think he's fit for it.
What's his name still there? The speedster? He was drafted by the Eagles, and then he left, and now he's back.
Sean Jackson?
Yes, he's still there?
I feel like we talked about him. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe he is. Falcons, Arthur Smith.
I think that's a great hire.
I think it's a fine hire, but they'll probably be like an 8-9, 9-8 team. 7-10.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be third or fourth in that division.
I think that's it for head coaches, new ones. So we'll see. All right, let's go to college hoops. 2022 elite scorer, top 5 recruit Keontae George commits to Baylor, so a big get there for Scott Drew. Turns out that winning national championships helps your recruiting status. So there you go. Especially with the fact that those were like not exactly homegrown guys for Baylor, but really coached up by Scott Drew.
Yeah.
Macy Otique, especially coming from I believe, I don't remember where he came from, but it was like a D3 school. So, makingthemadness.com, Sean Paul, guy I've had on my college basketball shows a couple times. His top 15 from July 17th features Gonzaga at number 1 with Texas, Purdue, UCLA, Michigan, Kansas, Villanova, Oregon, Kentucky, Duke, Illinois, Memphis, Florida State, Baylor, St. Bonaventure, which I think Memphis will jump up a little bit. Jalen Durant, who's a 5-star recruit, just reclassed from 2022 to 2021. He will play for Memphis this year. So people are going to be expecting big things from Memphis. If anybody listens to what I have to say about college basketball, typically I think Penny Hardaway is a below average coach in college basketball. So he better make the tournament with this team or he should be done.
Yeah, because last year he was contempt with their winning of the NIT.
Yeah, they should have made. You got 4- and 5-star talents in the American Athletic Conference, and you can't make the tournament. Come on, pretty bad.
And then Valpo adopts the Beacons as their new nickname. I don't remember what they were before. I don't remember what they were before.
Don't know. Did they even have one?
I don't know. I'm assuming they had one if this is their new nickname.
We'll see, but we'll see if they're ever relevant again. What conference are they in? Why did I forget?
I have no idea.
Oh, I should know this. What an idiot. Southern or something? Or no? Are they? No, they're not. Oh, they're in the Missouri Valley. What the hell? Yeah, they're so irrelevant. I didn't even remember that they were in the Missouri Valley. That's how bad they are. I'm a big Missouri Valley fan. All right, golf. Let's head there.
Yeah, the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational winner, Abraham Answer, won $1.8 million, shot 16 under.
Yeah, 3-way playoff, sudden death between him and Matsuyama and Sam Burns. And he had Matsuyama lip out for birdie on the first playoff hole to win, and then Burns lipped out on a birdie to tie Answer to go to a third hole. So some luck there for Abraham Answer, but a terrific player. I like the way that he plays. Betting favorite of mine.
And then when this starting Thursday is the Wyndam Championship, defending champion Jim Herman at Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Should be an interesting event. Don't know how much I'll watch, but more than a few others in the past few weeks that we haven't seen the big players playing it, which doesn't always matter, but we'll see. He had women's world number 1 Nelly Korda, who's only 23 years old, by the way, winning the gold medal for the USA at the Olympics. So 2 golds in golf for the USA, official golf country. Pretty good. So, I mean, if you want to look at the Olympics, we did beat China 39-38 in golds and then had the most total medals. So that's a big win for the USA. Nice little comeback.
I didn't watch much of the Olympics. I did see some track last Friday, and what was it? The Dominican Republic got silver, I believe, in the 100 meter or 200 meter. But that's the first medal the Dominican Republic has ever gotten in track and field.
Speaking of track and field, the women's U.S. track and field squad is extremely good. The men's team is questionable, but the women's one's very good.
Yeah, what's Felix's first name?
Allison?
Yeah, she got bronze in that race with that Dominican Republic girl to tie. Who was the guy who held his fist up on the podium?
I don't know.
But she tied him with 10 medals in track.
Why did I not remember the name? I don't know. No, I forgot the name. So, all right, Major League Baseball. By the way, baseball, the U.S. team got a silver after getting shut out by Japan in the gold medal match, so not good enough. Field of Dreams game, we'll make a pick for this money line later, is Thursday night, White Sox and Yankees. Carlos Rodon is going to pitch for the White Sox. TBD for the Yankees. We'll see.
I saw on the ESPN app, it showed who was pitching for the Yankees.
I didn't see it on the MLB app as of a few hours ago, but I could check.
But it had TBD for their game tomorrow as well. But it shows that Andrew Heaney.
So lefty. They got him from the Angels. So
yeah, they're undecided on who's pitching tonight against the Royals.
Maybe a bullpen game. One of the more intriguing races in Major League Baseball this year has been the NL East. The Mets were in first place for multiple months, and then they finally started to get caught by other teams. The Phillies have won 8 games in a row.
Well, yeah, but you had Lindor get hurt.
Yeah, DeGrom as well got hurt. So a lot of injuries and just not playing.
I mean, you brought Baez in.
He got hurt.
Oh, he's hurt now?
Well, he left the game on Sunday, I think, and he's not in the lineup tonight, but they said he'll be available off the bench, so it's nothing serious, but he's going to miss a game or two. The Phillies have won 8 straight to take that division over, 2.5 game lead now. And then you had the Braves in second. They continue to win. The Mets slide to third. So it's going to be an interesting race. See if the Phillies can hold on. I think they have the team to do it. Bryce Harper's batting .310, and nobody even cares. So it's a weird season, but that's that, I guess.
Yeah, and then Jimenez stays hot for the White Sox. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs.
When was that? Sunday?
Yesterday, I believe.
He hit 2 home runs on Sunday. I know.
Yeah, it was like back-to-back games for him.
Well, the hilarious thing about Sunday is that the Cubs traded him to the White Sox for Jose Quintana in one of the dumbest trades I've ever seen. And that was a trade where everybody knew it was dumb right away. Like the Gleyber Torres to the Yankees for Chapman for the Cubs, at least they got a championship out of that. Quintana, an average starter to begin with, you trade Eloy Jimenez for him? That's just so stupid. And that's part of the reason, not a huge part, but part of the reason why the Cubs are where they are right now is trading that big of a prospect. And Dylan Cease, who pitched against the Cubs in that Sunday night game for Jose Quintana. Just not smart. And we'll see if the White Sox are doing the exact same thing by giving up Madrigal for Kimbrel. But I have a feeling the White Sox might win it all this year, so we'll see.
And then the Phillies to retire Roy Halladay's number 34 in his tribute.
I think they did that on Sunday, and then Zach Wheeler threw a complete game shutout against the Mets. There's a big deal made out of that, so pretty cool.
And then the top current teams, they still got the Giants at 71-41. Tampa Bay comes up into second at 68-44, and the Dodgers are at third at 67-45. After Pujols hit a monster home run over the weekend.
Off of Reed Detmers, yep, who's had a rough start to his career, local kid. I played against him, played with him a little bit, and he's given up 11 runs in his first 2 starts. So not great, but he's young. He's pitched less than 30 minor league games. They already rushed him into the majors. So I'm not 100% blaming him for that, but we'll see if he can figure it out. National Hockey League. The big story now is Kirill Caprisav has an 8-figure deal in the KHL if he can't reach a deal with the Minnesota Wild. He won the Calder last year. Explosive, dynamic talent. The only reason the Minnesota Wild are watchable for the casual hockey fan. I mean, what a joke they haven't figured this out. Here is the post from Frank Saravalli, who reported this last night. Hearing Kaprizov has a tentative agreement in place with CSKA Moscow on a 1-year, 8-figure deal to begin on September 1st. Should a new contract not materialize with the Minnesota Wild, that is. However, the Wild appear ready and willing to talk medium-term length deal. Initial hang-up, Minnesota was only interested in a 7 or 8-year deal for the Calder Trophy winner. That's not the case. Bunch of options in term, but the Kaprizov camp contends there has been no offer made since April. We'll see where this goes. 2 sides remain in communication. So the Minnesota Wild are doing the league a complete disservice if they can't find a way to keep him. If he ends up going to the KHL, that's just pathetic, but we'll see. A couple other things here. 3 goaltenders sign extensions. Carter Hart, Igor Shesterkin, Ilya Samsonov. You had Hart, of course, Flyers, Shesterkin, Rangers, and Samsonov, Caps. Some short-term extensions there for some young goaltenders. Personally, I think Shesterkin will be the best out of those 3, but we'll see. And then college football.
Yeah, and Samsonov's deal was only like 1 year, $2 million.
I think it was 1 year, $2 million. Yeah, and then I think Carter Hart was somewhere in the 3 or 4, and then I think Shesterkin was 4 or 5.
And Hart's been solid, but it's just like
last year was really bad.
Yeah.
The defense in front of him was horrendous.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's been pretty solid, but he just doesn't have the defense in front of him.
And they've done things to try to fix that this year. You look at trading for Ryan Ellis, trading for Rasmus Ristolainen, who doesn't even really play defense. That was a stupid trade in my opinion. But Keith Yandel obviously getting in there now. So they're trying to fix it. I like Provorov a lot. I think he'll have a bounce back. I like Sanheim. So I think the Flyers defense will be better. It better be. I mean, you're paying this guy.
Them letting go of Voracek. I liked him. When I did fantasy hockey, I always picked him.
I mean, he's a point scorer. He had 43 points last year. But here's the thing with that. I like Cam Atkinson in terms of, on ice value for the Flyers over Voracek at this stage.
Yeah.
So we'll put it that way. College football favorites in the Power 5 conferences. You have in the Big Ten, Ohio State minus 220, Penn State plus 600, Wisconsin plus 800. Out of those three, I would if I were betting, I'd bet on Wisconsin, but I think Ohio State wins the conference.
Ouch.
So I'll go over every team
except for Penn
State there. Yeah. So I don't know. I just who's the quarterback at this point?
I have no idea who's there this year.
Exactly. That's kind of the problem here. ACC.
Oh, wait, what was Illinois in that?
I'm not an Illinois football fan. I'm an Oregon football fan, Illinois basketball.
Oh.
So I have an Oregon football jersey to prove it from the Mariota days, getting destroyed in the championship. ACC, Clemson minus 750. Holy moly, that's a big number. UNC plus 800. Miami plus 900. Once again, if I were betting, probably go North Carolina. Clemson is probably going to win it.
I was going to say, where's Notre Dame in this, but I forgot that they're not. They're only in the ACC and every other sport but football.
Yeah, they're too uppity up in football, so good for them. And they're also not participating in the college football new video game that's supposed to come out in the next couple of years, apparently. I don't know if they've changed their stance on that, but we'll see. SEC, Alabama minus 165, Georgia plus 200, Texas A&M plus 1,100. If I were betting, I'd pick Bama, and Bama's going to win. So pretty easy one there. And the fact that you have that big of a dropout between Georgia and Texas A&M really tells you all you need to know.
Well, I'll just put my other thing I wrote in here. Bama's the runaway number one in the preseason coaches poll.
Loaded team. Their offensive line.
That just solidifies to bet on their
I think they're
165.
I think that they'll be just as good as last year.
And are these numbers for them just to win their conference or to win the whole thing?
Win their conference.
Oh.
Big 12. Oklahoma minus 180, Iowa State plus 290, Texas plus 750. I'd probably double down on Oklahoma here. I think they'll win it, and I'd bet them. But Texas, maybe things will finally change there. Who knows? Yeah. But you gotta see it to believe it.
Putting a couple bucks on Iowa State there could win.
Well-coached team. Campbell is a very solid coach. Pac-12, my guys, Oregon plus 260. They're going to win it. Everybody knows it. Washington plus 350, USC plus 400. If I had to bet on someone other than Oregon, it'd be USC for sure. I do think Arizona will be better, so I'd make maybe some sort of over-under bet on them. I think Arizona will be better. Arizona State probably as well, so we will see.
Yeah, and UCLA's program has went down.
Yeah, it's gone very much downhill. Kind of an embarrassment.
Who's even the coach? Is Chip Kelly there?
I think, yeah. What a legend, right? Great at Oregon. Ruined Oregon's program after leaving, though. I don't know what
that's when you were a fan.
A big Chip Kelly fan. Then he just leaves, and then you got freaking Willie Taggart, the worst college football coach I've ever seen. Complete joke. Now we're back with Mario. So, okay.
And also in the SEC, I'm surprised LSU's not in there.
Yeah, I think they were like plus 1,600 maybe or plus 1,500, right around where Florida was. They were kind of together at 4 and 5, I believe. I think the problem for LSU is the quarterback position.
But I thought Ogeron said he had 2 championship quarterbacks.
But do people really believe that? Vegas doesn't.
I guess not.
All right, let's do the betting picks. Let's do Major League Baseball. Last week I was 4-1. I had Spieth, Hovland, Simpson to win. They finished Spieth tied for 12th, Hovland tied for 36th, Simpson tied for 15th. I had Koepka top 5, Finau top 10. Koepka finished tied 54th, and Finau tied for 34th. I went 4-1 in Major League Baseball last week.
I went 2-3 in the MLB. I had Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Louis. Spieth was tied 12th. Justin Thomas was tied 26th. Louis tied for 17th. I had Dustin Johnson for the top 5. He tied for 10th. And I had Kisner at top 10. He finished 63rd. He was 9 over.
Rough couple rounds for our boy Kiz there, but see if he can bounce back.
He was sitting there competing, and then we put these new betting in for golf, and he tanks.
I mean, he was tied for 16th after round 1, so it looked like he was going up and then downhill. But the Wyndam Championship this week, my 3 players to win: Hideki Matsuyama plus 1,400, Tommy Fleetwood plus 4,500. And I figure Ricky Fowler at some point is going to win something, right? Plus 5,500 to win. And then to finish top 5, give me Louis Oosthuizen, who's pretty much money when it comes to finishing top 5 or 10 at this point. Not winning, though. Got him at plus 250. And then Kisner plus 500 to finish top 10. Need a bounce back from Kiz.
I also have Hideki Matsuyama at plus 1,400. I have Louis at plus 1,600. And then I have Sungjae M at plus 3,000. My top 5 is Matthew Wolf at plus 900. And my top 10 is Brant Snedeker at plus 500.
All right, let's do Major League Baseball lines. Give me the White Sox minus 165 at the Twins. The Phillies plus 115 against the Dodgers. The Cardinals minus 165 against the Pirates. Angels plus 145 against the Blue Jays. And then at the end of this, we'll do our Field of Dreams pick.
I also have the White Sox at minus 165. I have the Dodgers minus 135 over the Phillies. I also have the Cardinals minus 165. And then I have the Giants minus 275 over the Diamondbacks.
All right, Field of Dreams game. Yankees, White Sox. I am taking the Yankees plus 150. I'm not going to double dip on the White Sox. I already picked the White Sox once in this episode, so I'm going to take the Yankees plus 150 to win because historically they're the better franchise. It's a historical game, Field of Dreams. Give me the Yanks.
I went with the White Sox minus 170.
Head-to-head. Here we go. Yankees a dog in the Field of Dreams game. Not that surprising considering where the White Sox are at, but just an interesting tidbit. So we'll have a lot more to get into next week in terms of fantasy football. That'll keep going. I'm sure there'll be some NFL headlines. Maybe we'll have the Caprisav situation in the NHL resolved. We'll talk a little Hard Knocks next week. We'll talk Field of Dreams.
When's your fantasy football draft?
Well, it's tentatively scheduled for late August, so I'll have it done before September. So probably the episode on the eve of the season, maybe.
Mine's Sunday.
So September 8th is the eve of the season. We'll be doing an episode on that. We'll probably do a ton of NFL stuff on September 8th. Predictions for the season, awards picks, fantasy football, the whole thing. September 8th. Is that your birthday?
It's the 6th.
It's close. We'll talk about that as well. Give you a birthday shout out from Pittsburgh.
But my draft is this coming Sunday, the 15th.
We'll talk about that next week. We won't go too in depth because we'll save it for the fantasy episode in early September. But all right, next week, August 18th, we will see you there for number 25, which will be a quarter of a way to 100 on the Sports Mashup podcast program. Goodbye.
Deuce.